Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us and spending time. So, I'm Cheryl Kusick. I have been in the industry for quite some time, spent time on the carrier side, spent time doing internal business consulting, employee benefits operations, senior leadership. But if you know me in another venue, I am a facts and data person. I like to observe things, right? Because if you get facts and data, notice the trends, then you can be responsive to it. So how many of you, when you came into the lobby, were just in awe of that wonderful, beautiful flower centerpiece? Okay, the pink one? It was like beautiful. It's like, that's what I would have had in my wedding, right? If that was just like amazing. How many flowers are in that centerpiece? And I will get a free token. How many flowers? How much? Okay, it's 600. You're close. Maybe a little higher. There you go. You get a ticket. It was 800 flowers, between 750 and 800. How long does that centerpiece last? How often do they change it? If you go out and observe, it's every Thursday they change that flower piece. Okay? So it's just a really good example of getting, I actually ran into the florist when they're out there. I'm like, I want to ask some questions about this, right? It's getting the facts and data so that you can, in a business setting, also make informed decisions, right? So be curious. That's one thing I've learned in my career. So let's talk about trends that are influencing your business, okay? So let's talk about this one, retention. How many of you focus on retention? No, we all focus on new client acquisition, but retention matters. And why is that? 86% of CEOs expect AI to help or maintain or grow their revenue in 2024-25. And when asked exactly what would happen, was improvement to customer experience. So we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about AI is your friend, is your partner, is your enabler. And it's important because we need to retain our business. Why does retention matter? You guys, why does it matter? Bingo. Gosh, Pam, you are going to be so rich at the end of this. You are going to be green ticket wealthy, right? You're going to be winning big prizes, right? Because it takes it's more effort, more uncertainty, more risk on attaining a new client than positively maintaining a very productive or very, that has a good return of investment. So make sure that you're retaining your clients, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So why does it matter? Lower acquisition cost. Bringing on new business is expensive, it is risky. Increased competitive advantage. Use your retention rates to your, use them as part of your power playbook. 96% of our clients have been with us more than 3 years. That's a powerful statement, right? So definitely have an increased advantage. Improved client experience, right? Your most trusted, the clients that trust you the most can be your biggest source of data for opportunities to improve. Higher profit margins, right? Also, from an account manager standpoint, when you have a client that you really like to work with, that you find value in working with, that they appreciate you, it also helps you retain your top talent. So that's why it definitely matters. Increasing to 94% retention yields 16% more employer groups after 5 years and an astounding 37% more after 10 years. So increasing your retention just a few basis points increases a significant amount of value to your organization. So retention is important, one of those trends to watch. So let's talk about talent management. So talent management is also a trend that is impacting not only the insurance industry, but the employee benefits market spot. So 74% increase in insurance professionals age 55 in the last decade. So some of us who have grown up in the insurance world, in the EB place, have all of this institutional knowledge. And we will be moving on, hopefully to places like Florida, where it's nice and sunny and beautiful, in the next 5 years. Do you have a plan to retain that institutional knowledge? How many of you? And I've got more green tickets. How are you guys doing that? Yeah. So you're being conscious. You're noticing the trend. Things are changing. The flowers are changing every Thursday. The people who you are recruiting are changing. And so how do you make your practice, your shop, attractive to others, right? What else are you doing, Natalie? Company culture. Tell me more. Culture is important.
So we talked a little bit about this yesterday in one of the breakout sessions, but just making sure that people are building those relationships and really giving them roots within the company so that they feel tied to it, and so they perform better, they enjoy their time there, and so they're less likely to leave.
Yeah. And in a company culture, do all employees come with the same expectations, the same needs? So how do you keep a pulse check on your employees? How do you know that trend? Touch base with them, communicate with them, voice of the employee surveys, all kinds of ways. But it is definitely a trend to watch and make sure that you have a plan for. 50% of the insurance workforce is going to retire, leaving over 400,000 positions. Lots of opportunities to attract new talent into our place. And is the new talent going to be the same talent that you needed 15 years ago? Absolutely not. They'll have different expectations, different skill sets. The way that you're managing your business is completely different, right? So how do you build up some of those foundation skills? And now taking into place AI. Okay. So what are you doing to adapt to talent strategy? Attracting talent, how your recruiting needs to be different. College students, maybe some time, like doing flex workforces too, right? Being flexible. Retaining talent. What is the biggest way to retain talent? Everybody says money. I don't think so. What is it? What? Always, it is helpful, I agree. Growth opportunities. Liking what you do. Liking working with your clients who are satisfied. How many of you have ever worked in a call center? A collection call center. That's where I started my career. It is no fun talking to people who are unhappy, right? It is no fun. It is really rewarding when people are like, thank you so much. That was really informative. I really enjoyed our discussion. I learned something new, right? Thank you. You guys are rock stars. This went really smoothly for us, right? So making sure that the environment is there for your team members to succeed. And then the impact on benefits, right? All of us are looking for different types of benefits. Wellness benefits are all important. So adapting that. Let's double click in. So how organizations achieve desired results for partnering for success. So here are some parts of our playbook that we have worked with many of you in this room on to do it. So make sure you're retaining your profitable clients, your profitable employer groups. How many of you in your EB shop have the client that everybody knows and doesn't want to work on? Like, I will give this up to you. You're new. Do we have a client for you? Right? 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 And it's either because the way they were set up, maybe it's their corporate culture, maybe expectations, right? So one of the things that you can look at is really understanding the profitability per client, right? Because everybody's like, oh, but we've had them for 15 years. They're such a good client. They're a little bit needy here and there, wink, wink. And then you find out that you're actually upside down. How many of you guys go through and do a profitability review on your clients? Juniper will share a green ticket with you. So tell us a little bit more about what you found when you did that exercise. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to fire those clients or help them move on to a different producer, but it's important to know your all-in costs, right? Just the same way I'm assuming there's somebody who's keeping an eye on the number of flowers that are in that big, right? Oh, they've gone over 12 to now 1,200 flowers. That's going to cause us a financial problem in our flower budget. So it's those kinds of things, right? It's getting the facts and data so that you can make informed decisions, maybe even make some plans for a particular employer group. How can we make that more efficient, a better experience for them, a better experience for us? So client segmentation. How many of you are taking advantage of saying, we have little clients, mid-market clients, maybe jumbo clients, and we need to treat them all a little bit differently, right? So tell us about how that has worked out.
Our signature group is 250 and above. And we feel that all of our clients are important, but they have very different needs. The smaller clients, with Kathleen manages and she can speak to, are much needier on a day-to-day basis than the larger clients, because the smaller clients is the owner, the accounting manager, the HR manager. They wear all these different caps, and so they have different needs versus the larger clients, which have larger staffs. They can be more strategic, and they expect us to be their strategic partner, where the smaller groups really just want us to be a real extension of their HR department because they don't actually have one. So we've tried to set up a model that treats those clients differently. We're trying to meet their different needs because they do have different needs.
You have different needs. That's a great example. Anybody else have an examples of client segmentation? Yeah.
And so that way they're able to give them the attention and help give them that advice that they look for. Because like you said, they don't have an HR department. It's a mom and pop shop that could just be one person. They probably only have 3 lives. So that way it puts our department to focus on the groups that have the larger lives and helps with the benefits, onboarding and such.
So that's kind of an example of our next one is leverage partners, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that's a great example is knowing what your different client segmentations are, knowing what maybe your service model is for each one of those segmentations, how you then can best meet those clients' needs, because it's no longer a one-size-fits-all opportunity in the benefits marketplace. Other examples of client segmentation? Great opportunity to really understand, get the facts and data about your business. Leveraging partners. If I had 800 flowers and you gave me a couple of hours to put together that piece, you would be like, oh, this is a disaster, right? I do not have that skill set. Just don't. I would love to. Maybe that's something I do down the road, but I don't have that skill set. So one of our other components in how do you strategize for employee benefits is be good internally at the things that you want to be good at, need to be good at, and then leverage others. And whether that's a partner like ReSource Pro or another type of vendor or AI, right? So leverage. So you gave a good example there of a partner. What other ways that can you partner with? How are you guys using ReSource Pro?
Enrollment change for our agency. So anything through any BIN admin system, they're going in every night. They process, they put through our agency management system, and then our account managers are really just functioning like they're taking care of our clients. It's been a huge time save.
Yeah, and that's a really great example of having your partners who are really good at a particular activity, take advantage of that, so that you can then free up your capacity to do more of your stewardships, work on the most complex questions, right? So that is a great example. Did you get a green ticket there? Oh, perfect. All right, I didn't want to leave you short. All right, automation, definitely a theme. It's on top of everybody's mind. BIN admin platforms, there are many, right, out there to leverage, to use. Some have, different functionalities. But if you're not fully taking advantage of your Ben admin platform, that's a missed opportunity. So it's something to think about. Benefit guides. How many people like, "Oh, we are so excited about benefit guides. This is so easy. It's not stressful. There's no changes to benefit guides. It's a one and done thing." How many of you like, "Oh, benefit guides are really super easy"? It's a challenge, isn't it? It is a lot of work, right? It's very time sensitive. It is probably one of the most important things that you do, right? Because it's setting the stage for your open enrollments. It also is how you then present yourself to not only the employers, but to the employees, right? So definitely it's an area that, we think it's, double down on, right? Because it's a significant communication piece, but definitely there's opportunities to make that more efficient, more effective. Any good examples? Have you guys tackled that one? Got that dialed in? Oh.
On the back end of it. So
That's
the easy thing. It all filters through one department. They track renewals really early, and it helps push our service team. It's like we're reaching out way before that renewal hits. So what you doing? We need this. But they've got their designers are the ReSource Pro team on the backside of it. So
yeah, that's a great example, is having your design team coming up with your templates, and then you're going to be compressed, right? I don't think there's been, it's never changed, right? It's a for certain. There's going to be compression, there's going to be changes, there's going to be, we need this updated, and then having a mechanism to do that in a very quick way. So that's one of the things that we would encourage. Benefit integrations. Taking advantage of all that the carriers and your ancillary benefits companies can afford you. Don't leave that on the table, right? So definitely EDI integrations, making sure that you're taking advantage of that. And then quoting engines. There are a lot of very advancements made in quoting. It's a key part of it, so definitely take advantage. So let's kind of go back through benefit integrations. Who's on a mission to get as much integrated? Make your carriers work for you. All right, Miles, and okay, I'm going to be throwing, it's going to be like a ticket parade here. There you go. Thank you, Jacob. Confetti for everybody. So tell us a little bit about how you're tackling that. Oh, Pam gets one.
Integrating as much as possible regarding system from what the client ends up putting in for open enrollment and things like that, and kind of having that like API calls from the client system to us directly to our system. And then we have a whole position that's all over just for national accounts, like just to have relationships and have those like one-stop people to go ahead and already have in the system to send the email off depending on the carrier.
Perfect. Great example. So take advantage of that. Pam, do you want to share another one?
So we're really exploiting Employee Navigator in the feeds that are in there. Trying to make sure, do we do the EDI? Do we do the API? We're also looking at what the quality of that connection is. Is it introducing more errors? Is it noisier than what we want it to be? So, but we're looking at integrating Unum right now, and it could have a cost savings of $35,000 just in manual processing. So we're really trying to do that analysis work.
Great example. And then quoting. Who's doubling down on quoting? A lot of quoting engines can be there. Right. So some of those things from a service from our playbook. Quality audits. Big fan of having quality be done internally before your employers and employees find quality, right? Rework is waste, not a good piece. Employer-employee communication, really honing in on your communication. It is how you go to market, it's how your DNA is, it's what you differentiate yourself. And then being consultative. Right? Having the things that have to be done be as automated, find good partners, and then really having your teams focus on the consultative part and being proactive in stewardship, sharing information, creating awareness. These are the trends that we are seeing. Okay? So a little bit about what's new for employee benefits in ReSource Pro. We, as Dan said, are diversifying our footprint. We are just recently added the Philippines as a center of excellence for employee benefits. So take advantage of talking to your CE about how that could approach. We've always been big fans of running your shops 24/7. So now you can have China, Bangalore, the Philippines. We have also added some technology in the employee benefit space with Helix. They have some applications in regards to carrier and password management. I mean, you guys are working with multiple carriers, so please talk to our teams about that. But just as we are watching the trends, we are also making investments in areas to support you. So let's kind of, what's our toolkit look like? So again, with our carrier access management platform, this is an area that we've heard from you over the years that is a challenge. So system administration, setup, carrier access management, no longer keep those carrier accesses on Excel spreadsheets, not a good compliance move. And then reporting. We can help you in these areas. This helps you with provisioning efficiency, tracking and monitoring, getting the facts and data, managing multiple carriers because you do have to place your business with multiple people, and migrating the risk of unauthorized access. Want to be in my next, Rick is going to speak about compliance, but we all know that EB is heavily compliant. So a little bit here about the value chain. So definitely like to look at our EB business comprehensively and holistically. So from a perspective of new business, open enrollment, ben admin, renewals, compliance, as well as accounting. This is a good placemat to say, what are the things that I should be doing, or my account managers or our agency should be doing, and what are the things that we can find best of class support, whether it's through technology, whether it is a combination of tech and provider, but really think about all the things you do, and is this something that is core to us? Is this differentiate us between our competitors? And if it is, how do we double down on make us be the best of class? And if this is something that we kind of are good at, then find someone who's really good at it. So that really then can enhance. It's kind of like, I'm going to use AI as my partner, I'm going to use another partner. Because in the employee benefits space, it's really hard to be an expert and do this really well. So kudos to you as EB Ops, that this is all on your plate and you have to do this, execute this flawlessly, right? So don't be shy about getting support. And we'll share this with you. But also, some things to really optimize your employee benefits ecosystem. I am a big fan, people who know me, I am a creature of habit, right? So I have a cadence to my life, and I call it my dialo. It's daily, what do I do every single day? What do I do every single week? And there's such a thing as a YOLI, Y-O-L-I. What do you have to do every year? And if you take that mindset into an employee benefits space, you can actually, and I think probably this has been the same calendar every year in U.S. and Benefits Administration, is what are the things that you need to do to get ready for Q4, right? Because it's going to happen, right? Come Labor Day, do you start panicking like, oh, we're going to get ready. Am I ready? Am I prepared? So right now, you should be like making sure you're finishing up your past Q4 busy season open enrollment. You're making sure all of the deductions are going right, and then you breathe, right? Like, I'm cool. Now it's our quiet time. But you should be now starting to turn your attention to what does Q4 look like? How are we going to be prepared? What was it like last year? What were the things were opportunities? And how am I going to do it next year? How many of you do that? Every year, we're going to do a debrief from how things went the last year. Excellent. Tickets for everybody, so. I'm very generous with the tickets. All right, so definitely here's some tools. We have team members here in the transformation services team that can help you with these calendars, these pinpoints, kind of back into reverse engineers so that you know all of the things that you have to do, because there's a high level of predictability in our business. So let's kind of put this together. So here is a case study, proven strategies, measurable impact. Nothing I said today was rocket science, right? Pretty easy stuff. It's a playbook. It's following a recipe, but it's a proven recipe. So let's put it together. So an insurance agency focused on EB. How many of you kind of look like this? 1,800 groups. That's kind of average, right? You want to have a lot of employer groups, right? You want to have employer groups that are profitable for your agency. How many of you work with more than one carrier? More than 100 carriers? More than 300 carriers, right? There's a lot of carriers out. You have to do that to make sure that you're getting the best benefits for your groups. So how do you do that? Is consistently come up with standardizing your processes, right? So, how are we doing things? Let's get that, make sure we've got that on paper, knowing exactly how we're doing it. How are we then partnering with others who can help us in certain spaces, and then also taking advantage of automation. And chipping away at it every year can actually help you then grow your business profitable, retain your top talent, and be competitive in the space. So let's kind of finalize it, put it all together for you. So utilizing a playbook, you can borrow this playbook. No secret, no, not top secret. Retain your profitable key clients, right? Those are the ones you want to make sure you keep. Looking at client segmentation as a strategy to be as efficient and profitable. Leverage partners. Take advantage of an automation strategy. Ben admin platforms, that's a given, easy there. Benefit guide drafting, EDIs, benefit integrations, and taking advantage of quoting engines. Then service, be overzealous on quality, right? Because then you don't have rework. Make sure you're doing audits. Focus on your communication because it differentiates you from others in your space. And be consultative and make sure that you have capacity for your teams to do that key component. So I think if you follow that recipe, you'll have beautiful flowers in your EB gardens. So thank you for spending some time to set up the stage. So with that, I think we have probably a couple minutes for some questions before we bring Rick up here. Any thoughts? Anybody following some parts of that playbook? You want to talk? I knew you wanted a green ticket. We'll get it to you. Jacob's going to bring it over.
It was all about the green ticket.
I know.
Actually, at Lawley Insurance, that's where Lisa and I are from in Buffalo, much of that we do follow, and it's very refreshing to see that we're on the right path. There's obviously places for improvement, of course, but we do partner quite a bit with ReSource Pro. We've had a great experience with them, and we obviously are looking to increase more because we're just, as an organization, we're growing. And so as we grow, our relationship with ReSource Pro is growing as well. But the benefit administration, we are using Employee Navigator. We just became partners with them this past year. We have an incredible technology team internally. We use other platforms as well, multiple carriers. So much of what you're talking about was really resonating, at least with me. So I hope with other folks too.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Perfect.
John, the use of Employee Navigator, we've been using them for 3 years now, and we just recently took the opportunity to partner with ReSource Pro to help audit the data that comes into Employee Navigator and then to go against the quote, so that way we don't have any discrepancies and that all of our client information is correct.
I almost want to give you like 2 tickets for that because I love that because you're using quality at the source. So auditing your data at the earliest possible moment can actually have a really nice halo effect across your workflows. So that's a really good example of not like, oh, this is a top secret thing. Very easy to execute with very solid results. Great. Anything else? All right, I have to. If you have any other questions, I will be around with more green tickets. And with that, I'm going to bring up Rick to talk about compliance. Or